disaster coach.
Ale, let's start with the beginning. What did you want to be at 18?
Wow. I think I always wanted, I know I like drawing and I always wanted to be a creative. I didn't really know what were the path that you could be as a creative. I know I liked to draw. I used to do a lot of things with fashion. Like I used to redo clothing, but I don't think I knew what were the career path. So I just knew I wanted to be an artist.
Wow. Who helped you navigate that choice of what to do?
My parents were always really creative and they would always encourage, like my dad, when I was 4 years old, I applied for como un concurso, like of doing the drawing of El Pensante, the thinker, the sculpture, and I won the doll, and my dad was the one who encouraged me to apply, and I think he probably helped me a little bit with the drawing. But it was beautiful too, because I think that was the first time that I was aware that I could win something with my talents, and it was really cool.
That's beautiful. What a great way to also boost your confidence as a little one. So tell us, what do you do now? Like how that has changed with time, and what do you do now for work?
I feel like it kind of did a whole full circle moment. Like I did have a career as a designer my whole life. Like my first job was working in a small studio as a packaging designer and surface design, like doing patterns on fabrics. And then I started being a marketing designer in tech companies. And then I worked for myself and kind of being more like an artist, like drawing a lot and doing a little bit of my own personal work as well as client work. So I feel like it goes in the vision that I had when I was 18 of being a creative.
Well, it makes sense, definitely. And so now you are a business owner.
Yes.
And also freelancer, working for clients. So tell us, like, a creative career comes with lots of highs and lows. So how do you manage the stress that comes with managing your own business?
Yeah, well, I always tell people that whenever you work for yourself, all your insecurities are gonna rise. And it's really important to do to have the tools to, to deal with all the insecurities and reframing your negative self-talk. So for me, I think with the journey that I had of going into an eating disorder program back in 2019, it really gave me the tools to, to whenever I had a challenging thought, I have tools to reframe it and speak to myself like I am my best friend. And I think that has really helped me, because when you're working for yourself, you're on your own and you have just you and your phone and Instagram, and there's this really human thing that you compare yourself to other people, and people always share their success stories, so you don't know how hard it is, and you kind of, at least when I was working full-time, I would idealize the situation when you're on your own. And when you're on your own, you sometimes miss the stability of having a full-time job, because the benefit of having a full-time job is that you can focus on your area of expertise and you don't have to worry about anything else. And when you're working for yourself, you have to like get clients, sell yourself, create content, share your work, and it's a lot of work. So,
but it's still worth it, right?
Yeah, no, it's so
like, would
worth
you change it for like
no, I wouldn't. I think it gives you, there's definitely a lot of pros. I love the flexibility of it. I love that I'm able to say you can organize yourself, that you don't need to work as hard as when you are working full time, and you can have the same output, as in like money wise. Like you can the tricky part has been being consistent, like dealing with trusting the unknown is like what I find has been my mantra for the longest time, of like, like trusting that everything's going to work out. Because as soon as you have anxiety or this scarcity mentality, then I used to paralyze, and I realized that like paralyzing is like the worst thing that you can do. Like you just have to keep going, learn from the process, keep going, learn from the process, and not tell yourself that you're failing, because you're going to feel like you fail all the time, because there's sometimes you write a post and you don't get that many likes or that many comments, and you're like, but I spent so much time in this content, I'm not getting the feedback that I expected. but it's like you're just getting feedback, and it's taking that feedback and learning how to, okay, maybe this didn't resonate. Maybe I'm going to try this instead. And it's just to keep going.
Right. So important, that self-talk that you're talking about, because it almost sounds to me like, as a business owner, you're not only caring for your technical skills and that expertise, but also for your own personal development, your mindset. I love that. Thanks for sharing. Also, you've mentioned that as a freelancer, it's important that you connect with a community. So tell us briefly, how do you stay connected with other creative and designers?
Yeah, I've realized that there were things that I was missing from when I was working full time. And the things that I've identified were like changing space, like going into a different physical space to do my work. And also like working with a team of people, or meeting, just speaking to people. It's hard when you're online all the time on a screen. And I do need the human connection. And I've found that for me, it's really important to invest in coaching or invest in mentorship programs or paid communities and people that are going through similar situation, and you kind of create accountability with each other. And I've realized that the more that you invest in that, the more you have as a return. So yeah, for myself, I've noticed my motivation changes when I'm part of these communities versus when I'm not. And also finding out what your hobbies are. Also, like, you don't need to monetize all your hobbies. So you can just have hobbies for the sake of having hobbies. So for me, it's been really important to do like theater. Like, theater has been super fun because you have the community aspect. You are being creative. It gets you out of your comfort zone. Also, like, ceramics helps me like being really focused, and also there's space for you to talk to new people. So finding the things depending on your own values, you can find what is it that you need. So it could be cooking, or it could be knitting, or doing sports. Like, everybody has different hobbies or different interests, and making sure that you take care of that when you're working for yourself.
So being named among 30 women in tech to watch in Canada means a lot. It's a huge recognition. So what did that mean to you?
Well, that was when me and Stephanie were working on Shine Bootcamp, which was a speaker incubator to get women to do more public speaking. And it was a beautiful project to be part of and really close to my heart. I remember when I got nominated, I had huge imposter syndrome, because I was like, oh, they're just nominating me because I'm the Latina of the group. And I kind of want to go back and shake that ale off and be like, just enjoy it and share it and be proud of it, because it's like, it was a huge deal. And yeah, I'm proud of it.
Ale, founding Mass Joy Studio feels like highly personal to you. So what brought you to create your own business studio?
Yeah. So when I decided to quit my job back in 2019, I needed time like for myself. And then we started working on Shine Bootcamp and went all in Shine Bootcamp. But it never gave us enough money to live off that. So we all had to do consulting work on the side. And I've always done design work as a way to survive. Design has always been my bread and butter. But I realized it's so interesting, because I had the realization last year that the journey with design has been a similar journey with my self-acceptance or my body image. And as in, like, I would take it for granted. Like, it was always there, and it's always been there for me. And it really got me to live in beautiful cities, explore the world. It really provided for me, and I have so much to thank for design, but I didn't give it the shine or the acknowledgement that it did. So Mass Joy Studio was born as in that way, as in like, okay, design has always brought me all this joy, and I need to be proud of sharing my work and sharing the world that I am a designer and I have a design studio and I work with great designers to accomplish all these projects for clients. Yeah, and that's how it was born. It would always be hidden. I would never share the work that I was doing. It would always be a little bit insecure, I guess. I would feel there will always be this comparison with other designers, or I'm not talented enough, or my work is not as good as other people's, so I shouldn't share it. And it's like, no, your work is really good. You need to be proud of it. And the world is missing out by not knowing all the things that you've done. So that's how Mas Joy Studio was born.
Beautiful.
I called it Mas Joy too, because I think the joy that people have when they feel connected to their brand is really, I don't know, that's what gives you the fuel, or that's what gives me the fuel to keep doing design work. Because it's like, it's so exciting when people feel proud of their brand, and when they feel connected, and when they feel excited to share it to the world. And it's really powerful as a designer to have the tools to help other people feel confident with their brand. And it also encompasses all these other personal projects that I have created by like Mas Joy Studio versus Alejandra Porta. So that was the idea behind it.
Ale, best career advice that you've ever been given?
I would say when I was interviewed by the school that I went to, Vancouver Film School, they did an interview that it was live. They didn't give me questions or anything in advance, and I had to do this interview, and I was feeling really nervous, really anxious. I'll be like, I don't know, I need to know what they're going to ask me. I'm so embarrassed. It's going to be on YouTube. And I had a therapy session with my therapist, and she said to me, Ale, confidence comes with exposure. If you were to do interviews every day, you wouldn't be nervous about it, because you would do it every day. This is your first time. It's human that you get nervous and you get anxious. But remember, confidence comes with exposure. And when she said that to me, it just clicked. And I was like, oh my gosh, she's so right. And as soon after that point on, I realized that, yeah, that whenever I do something for the first time, to embrace all the nervousness and the feelings of anxiety. The more I will do it, the more comfortable I will get. And it's part of the process. And it really changed the way I would see things. So I really have that as another little mantra, that confidence comes with exposure.
That's beautiful. I guess I have another question, last question for you. You know, the job market at the moment is quite tough, not only for creatives, but for lots of different professionals. What advice do you have for those younger professionals that are trying to break in?
I think it's really important. I wish I had a mentor when I was younger. I think it's important to look up to people that are a little bit ahead, and, not be scared of reaching out to them and just messaging them. Because I think most people are willing to help or to provide advice to younger generation. I would say it's really important to always keep learning and always challenge yourself to do something that scares you, and do it. The fear is never going to go away. It's just embracing the fear and going for it. Also, it's really key to go to meetups, go to events, meet people, talk to people. Everyone's not really, I feel like networking is such a icky word. And everyone's have, a lot of people will have that feeling of when you go to all these events of like, oh, we have to network. But if you see it more as like, there's an opportunity to meet all these people and learn from them, and and just see people as people. We're all people. Nobody's higher or lower, and everyone has fears, and everybody has insecurities, and it feels less scary that way if you go to a room and see people as, they're just human who are in this event because they need to get to know and learn more things. And yeah, so go to events, even if it feels scary, talk to people, and yeah, everything's going to be okay. And always make sure to, focus on what you need, because sometimes you can get caught up in comparing and feeling like defeated because maybe you're not getting the job interview or whatever. But like, it's important to focus on what makes you happy at the end, and do things that self-care, or like your hobbies, and keep trying, keep applying, keep working on your portfolio, keep meeting people, and not feel defeated, because things will come when they'll need to come.
All right, Ale, what would you say to your younger self?
I would hug her, and I would always tell her that she's enough and she's doing enough and she's creative enough and she's talented enough, and to believe in herself that she's going to do good. I think when I was younger, you, like any young person, you have all these insecurities and you compare yourself to other people. So I would tell her, you're enough and you're doing enough and everything's going to work out.
Love this. I would also tell her the same. I think we all need that. You were from Nicaragua. You were born in Nicaragua. You moved to Toronto, and you lived in Canada for close to 15 years, right? Between Toronto and Vancouver. What advice do you have for those professionals who are thinking about moving abroad, getting outside of their comfort zone and starting their careers abroad?
Wow. Oh, it's a scary challenge. I would say always surround yourself with people. You know, for me, I think friends became family, and I am someone who likes to have a group of people around. So for me, having a group of people really helped me, because Canada, the weather was really different from Nicaragua, which is like hot all year round. And yeah, again, the same. It's like trusting yourself. You're doing enough. There's a lot of insecurities that come from English being your second language. I remember feeling like I went to an art and design university and I felt that people had another level. In Canada, you start seeing university classes in high school. So they were really good with like Photoshop and Illustrator, and I had never used any of those softwares, and I would feel that I wasn't good enough, you know? So it's like feeling like where you come from like the color palette I would use would be brighter, like anything that your authenticity is so important and valuable, and it's important to embrace where you're coming from, because that's what's going to make you different. And that's what's going to make you stand out. So just, embrace it and try not to compare yourself to other people, because it's human. We all do it, but just embrace your authenticity and what makes you unique, because that's what's going to make you stand out. Yeah.
So Ale, following up with that question, how do you think that having English as a second language affected your career growth?
Yeah, there were definitely insecurities that would come, like the way I would express myself sometimes didn't make sense. I remember one time a friend of mine was like, "Oh, she told me a really hard story," and I was like, "I'm so impressed." And impressed means when something good happens, and she was telling me something bad, and just little mistakes like that you make. But I find that's why representation is so important, and it's really important to have Latinas or people from other cultures in positions of leadership, because it's really important to see yourself that you can get there. And when I was younger in my career, I never really had someone to look up to that was not necessarily a white woman or a white man. So it's really important to have diversity in leadership positions. But going back to English as a second language, I mean, same of like embracing what makes you different, and embracing if you say a word that sounds different, and embracing your accent, because that's what makes you special, and that's what makes you unique, and that's what makes you interesting. Like if we all speak the same way, then it's boring. And so it's really interesting to embrace that difference, because that's what's going to make us, again, stand out and make us more interesting. So not be ashamed of that, and just embrace it and raise your hand whenever you want to, and not stop yourself from it, which is human. Like we all are going to have these fears, especially when we're not from that country. You have a lot more insecurities. You compare yourself more, or you quiet yourself because you feel that you're not smart enough or talented enough, or you won't be able to communicate it in the same way. But I think people appreciate our efforts, and they want us to have that space. So let's take it and own it,
This is beautiful. It's not only a career journey, but it's a life journey.
Yeah.
We're all in that, a work in progress. Thank you so much, Ale, for sharing your wisdom with us. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Well, thank you.
Coach.